Well, everybody, it is that time of the year again. It is vinyl tag time, and everybody knows how I love doing vinyl tags. So there are two vinyl tags out there. They are Rob Walker's, and there are Stunties, Stunt Rock Confusions. And as I do love vinyl tags, I'm going to try to do both, of course. Starting with Rob Walker's. It was real easy actually, but it's vinyl tags. I love vinyl tags, so I appreciate that you have done one, Rob Walker. Starting with the questions, 22 questions I'm going to go through without the video being too long, so start right away. Favorite album purchased in 2021, and everyone who saw my year in review video previously knows that it is this one. Dexter Gordon's Dexter Writes Again in a reissue from 2018 with bonus tracks. An album by first person you saw live. Well, the first live concert I was on, if you don't count children's actors and so on, theaters, that was actually a symphony orchestra when I was around maybe 12, 13, 13 I think, where I went to see a classical concert by Mozart. And that symphony orchestra I do not have any records with. So the first one that I can have a record with is when I'm in the gymnasium, went to a kind of an event that not library, but what they had in Sundsvall called Story Will Stängning, the store will close up to memory of the store will closing in New Orleans in the past centuries because they didn't like jazz and so on. It was a whole day where they played Dixieland music. Now, I'm no fan of Dixieland, but at the time I actually went to see it. It was free. I was a teenager. I loved jazz, and also I knew some of the musicians. My friend that I've told before, who taught me to like jazz, he also went there. So we had a couple of great years when we one day went to see that. So and the only one that I have a record by from those bands is Sundsvall Dixielanders, a Dixieland orchestra from where I live. I have this band only because this person right here in the middle there, he was actually my English teacher. One of them, I should say, one of them. And he knew that I liked jazz, so I went there to see him. So it was fun to find this album by him. So that was the first concert I went to that I actually have some record with. Album by a duo. There are numerous bands I could have picked. You name them. Erasure, OMD. But I picked actually this. This is Tommy Flanagan piano and Red Mitchell bass. They are a duo on this album. Only them, no one else. You're Me. This is a really great album, recorded in 1980, and they play very well together, really well together. And Red Mitchell proves here that he's more than just a background bass player. Actually, highly recommended. An album still in the shrink. There are times when I buy records that are not opened, Many of those are cutouts, and this is also one of those cases. And as I have so much to listen to, it is not often it's not always that I have the time to listen to all of those. But I plan to listen to them one of these days, such as this that I found at the Sigalongen market a couple of years ago. I think I showed it when I bought it. And this is kind of a singer-songwriter style that I really like from the 70s. This album by Gargoni, Martin and Taylor. Gotta get back to Cisco. And it is still sealed. Maybe also previous in the vinyl community there were that thing called sealed to revealed. We open a sealed record and gave it its first spin in front of the camera. In the past I actually waited to open it because I felt like one of these days I might do a sealed to reveal, but the trend of sealed to reveal is since long gone in the vinyl community, so I've completely forgot about it actually. But I will open it and play it, of course. A concept album. Don't have that much of those, but I picked this one, David Bowie's The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and Inspired from Mars. I think this might be my favorite David Bowie album. It's really great, relaxing. So concept album. Album you not yet played. This one I had not played. What more do you want? Okay, I picked this one, and as with every other that I haven't played yet, I plan to play it one of these days. So I picked Elton John's Tumbleweed Connection that I bought beginning of the year, I think. I have not played it yet. I hope to do it also. For those of you who follow my blog, it will be coming up, a review of it on my blog when I listen to it. Artists you discovered in 2021, there aren't that many of those actually, due to the 2021, as I said in my year in review, being a big jazz year. So I haven't discovered that many new artists. I picked this though. It is from Kjellman's VCLT. He sent me a lot of Norwegian artists, and one of those that I liked the most were the musicians around the AOR, singer-songwriter AOR style, called Lava. I have no album by the band Lava themselves, but the band Lava have released several albums of side projects. So I have this High Fidelity. I could have picked them, but they only released one album under this name, so it feels a little stupid to pick it. But there are musicians from the band Lava, and it's also produced by Swedish musician Janne Schaffer, and you also have, if I'm not wrong, Björn Skifs, Swedish vocalist, is here, famous for the hit single Hooked on a Feeling outside Sweden. So, it's another former member of Lava, Rolf Graf. So the members around the Norwegian AOR band Lava is my pick for the discovery during 2021. Live album, I have a lot of those. I like live albums because there you can feel the musicians' energy at being at the most real, actually. I picked this one. I haven't shown this one in a while. Deep Purple's Made in Japan. Not many expected me to pick that, did you? Trying to surprise every now and then and not be too predictable. Album from a different continent. Would be easy to pick one from Brazil. I have some Brazilian albums, but I picked this one that I also bought at the beginning of the year, I think. This is Gigi from Ethiopia, an African singer that have been reaching pretty far outside of Africa. And who can deny with these kind of musicians? Herbie Hancock, Wayne Shorter. So she have a lot of help from musicians outside of Africa. And she, if I'm not wrong, she's also married to an American musician. So, but it's actually a really great. I'm not saying that the entire album is good, but it definitely is a very interesting and special album, very great sounding. So I actually recommend this one. We have an album with a price sticker on the jacket, as I do buy on thrift stores. There are some of those, yes. I'm not sure if you wanted the original price stickers from when it actually was released. I don't have a lot of those, but of course I have a whole bunch with that where there are a price sticker on from the thrift store. So I picked one of them. I picked Kajagogo's Islands from 1984. The first album with Nick Beggs as a vocalist. And costed $1, and it's still a price sticker on the jacket. I assume that you wanted to write on a jacket, not on any kind of price tag on the shrink. We have a punk or new wave album. When it comes to punk albums, I don't have any punk albums. It's not my style. All of a sudden, everybody keeps nagging up punk music all of a sudden. New wave, though, is another stuff. I picked this one, a new wave rock band from Sweden that I actually really do like. They're called Commando M-Pig. M-Pig, as they were originally called Commando Musse-Pig, and Musse-Pig is the Swedish word for Mickey Mouse. But Walt Disney and his company didn't like that one bit, so they had to shorten it to M-Pig. So it's Commando M-Pig, and it has nothing to do with this is album from 1983, 82, and this is really great new wave-ish rock, early 80s style, and I really like it. I really like Eva Sunesson's vocal, and I like this band a lot, especially the song Intima Teatern, the intimate theater. We have a box set. I showed them a lot of times, but I picked this one. Oscar Peterson, Star Point, on Verve, containing the best of the best from the Oscar Peterson's era with Eddie Thigpen and Ray Brown trio. So we have Night Train songs, we have Summertime, we have Take the A Train, Lady to Tramp, Setting Doll, Fly Me to the Moon, and so on. Album with a sporting theme. I picked this one The official music of the 1984 Games, Los Angeles. And we have these artists performing. And we also have different kind of Olympic themes and sports themes and track themes and so on. Really fun thing to have, even though it's not a complete perfect album, but they have some really great moments, of course, with these artists. Jazz album. I could have done a whack-a-mole. A jazz album. The horror thing here was what to pick. I recently showed all my jazz albums in different kind of videos. I picked this one, Duke Ellington and his interpretations of Per Gynt suites and Thursday suite. Grieg Per Gynt suite, and at the time, and here we're talking about the 1960, the Norwegian were not that happy if you made jazz versions of their national composers. Ask Swedish pianist Charlie Norman. But actually, the interesting thing here is that it was the Swedish musicians who protested the most. So actually, Duke Ellington withdrew finally the Per Gynt suite when the critics became too high. But it is actually a really, really great jazz version of Per Gynt suite. A best of album. I have a lot of those also, and many of them are on CDs. So I picked this one, the Smiths best of CDs, best of 1 and best of the best 2, and they're both released in 1992. I show way too little the Smiths in my channel, don't you think? Album with at least 8 people on the jacket. Well, I could have picked random big band, but I picked this one. We Are the World album from 1985. As you can see, there are more than 8 people on the jacket. Soundtrack. I do like soundtrack, but in most cases I prefer them when they are newly written for the movie itself, not random compilations that you have put together as a soundtrack with different kind of already released songs. This one is an exception, though. I'm not saying that this one is good, but I keep it, of course, because of the theme of the soundtrack. We have motion picture from the soundtrack, music from the motion picture soundtrack, Body Slam. Yes, it's wrestling connected. I haven't seen the movie. I feel like I should, but I have also a feeling that it won't be that good. But who knows? If you look, we have Roddy Piper and Captain Lou Albano in the movie. It's mostly band Kick that performs here most, but you also have Bachman Turner Overdrive, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. So I have no real high hope for the music. I don't think the music is that much. I have no real high hope for the movie also, but it's fun to have since it's wrestling related. Show some VCLT. I picked this one that I got from Robert Z a couple of years ago. In excess, Listen Like Thieves with the Japanese pressing. Always grateful for this one. I was totally in shock when I opened it, because Japanese pressings on vinyl, I think this was my first. So I was really surprised and happy for it. Album with no writing on the jacket. At first, I misunderstood the question first. I thought you meant that with no what someone has written on it with a pen, and I felt like, is it that ordinary that you have that? Even though I'm not picky on it. But then I realized that with no title on it, and then I didn't have all that much of those, but I picked this one. This is Low Life, New Order. Not a single word what album it is. You really have to be a fan of this band to know that it actually is New Order. So I prefer when they write on the cover what it is actually, but it works if you want to be special. We have 7-inch single. I also there was toying with the idea of having a whack-a-mole. Come on, Bob, I have over 3,500 singles to pick one. But I went to my box of obscure oddities, so I picked this one. It's a lot of 7 inches, but this is actually a different kind of lullabies from different kind of countries. You can see here we have one from Poland. You have Tullerit Lull from Sweden. We have one. We have German. We have Korean, and we have American. We have Pakistan, Belgium, Hungary, USA, Russia. So I picked this one. I haven't listened, of course, to all of these. Maybe I should one day, but it's really special fun to have those. We have a colored vinyl album. I have colored vinyl mostly on 7 inches and 12 inches, but not that many on full length. But I picked this one, Deltics by Chris Rea. Released on blue vinyl. This is a special, you can see here, specialpressning, special pressing. This is an early Chris Rea from 1979. And finally, album from 1982. I picked one of my favorites, of course. I picked Bad Manners, the lunatic ska band, with its extremely energetic single Buster Blood Vessel. And this is Foreign Ahead, that contains one of my favorite song from 1982 also. Their version of the movie song Exodus. Well, there's Samson and Delilah here. We have My Girl Lollipop, sung by Buster Blood Vessel as only he can. So 1982, Bad Manners, Foreign Ahead. So now I'm done with vinyl tag number 1. Hopefully the next will be vinyl tag number 2. So I hope that you are satisfied with my response, Rob and everybody else. It's fun to do vinyl tags, and it's also a nice way always to start a brand new year at the vinyl community by doing vinyl tags. So until next time, I hope every one of you have a real nice time. Take care and so long.